Hello, everyone. It's Sunday once again, and it's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK, and 9 p.m. in Manila. And welcome to another episode of Ask the Drummer. I do apologize for last week. That I know a lot of you are sort of like looking forward to seeing Jimmy Hughes, but unfortunately we couldn't do it last week. But I will reschedule him, and hopefully sometime soon. But this week we've got a brilliant drummer as our guest. Found out that he's originally from Liverpool, but he's been living here in Manchester for I don't know since he was 15 apparently. So it's a long time. So I now consider him as a Manchester sort of like musician, and also from a Manchester band, Easterhouse. Because oh my God, I mean their song "Come Out Fighting" is just I'd say one of my top 20 all-time favorite songs, and I really really love that song, and I'm sure a lot of the Filipino new wavers love it as well. So I'm really looking forward to chatting to him. So we'll bring him on the show now. My dear friends, please welcome David Verner of Easterhouse. Yay. Hello, David.
Hi, Anna. Oh, you okay?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you like that track, "Come Out Fighting."
Yeah, it's funny because we're actually Facebook friends before finding out that you play drums and "Come Out Fighting." And that song in particular, I mean, I love that 12-inch, this one here. So I've got that one, "Come Out Fighting."
Yeah.
But the whole album, "Waiting for the Red Bird."
Yeah, it's a good album.
It's amazing. It's so really, really good. So, like I said, this is a Manchester Easterhouse or a Manchester band.
Yeah, we were banned by the BBC when that album was released for being too political.
Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't know.
We didn't get the radio play, which probably quite deserved, although it did go to number 14 in the Billboard charts in America. I keep hoping Tyson Fury will use it as a come-out track when he comes out fighting, but he's retired now, so won't be much chance on that. But I always thought it'd be a great song for a boxer to come out to.
Oh, right. Well, so there's no chance of Easterhouse reforming and playing again?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, it's a shame. Because I would really love to sort of like hear "Come Out Fighting" live, you know. So
we reformed a few years back for a festival we put on in Stockport called the Moor Fest about 10 years ago, and Andy Rourke played bass for us.
Oh my God!
In the band at the time.
In Stockport.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And I didn't get to hear about it, and I live in Stockport. That's a shame.
Well, it's about 10 years ago now. It's a one-off festival we put on. Howard Marks was there, Bandit Drawn Boy played, Haven played, Manny DJ'd. It was a really good day.
Oh, wow.
In Heat Bowl. Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame. But anyway, so you've just came back as well because you now work at the Apollo, so or part of this sort of like crew. Yeah. So how are you feeling? I hope you're not too tired though. So
it's been a hectic week with Liam Gallagher at Etihad. We had Queen at the Arena, and then last night was Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp.
Oh my! When I was in Glasgow, to see McHead, Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp, they were playing at the Royal Glasgow Hall, I think. So I saw the tour buses, like two massive tour buses. And so like I asked the guard, and they said that it's Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp, and I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. But yeah. Anyways, do you like McHead?
Well, I love the Pale Fountains, but I've not had a chance to listen to the new stuff as yet.
Yeah, they've got a new album out called Dear Scott. So I'm sort of like telling everybody that you've got to get the new album out. It's on like Spotify and Apple Music and everything. And the album, the LP and CDs, they're out as well. So it will be great because I just love Michael Head and the Red Elastic Band. They're just so
I
amazing.
must check them out. That
Yeah,
first album, was it Walk Across the Kitchen Table or something? A title like that?
from across the kitchen table. Yeah, that was so amazing. He doesn't do the Pale Fountain songs now, unfortunately.
Great band. I mean, at the time I had the Soul Mining and Pale Fountains. It was there's a lot of nice things going on at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still hoping that maybe someday he will do some of the Pale Fountain songs, because that's like, in the Philippines they're massive. The
Yeah.
Pale Fountains are just massive, and
Right.
yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. So before I actually do the proper interview with you, I just want to say hello to a good friend of mine, Trevor Palmer. He said hi, Anne and David. So Trevor, hello, Trevor. It's good to see. Yeah, he was at the McHead gig in Leeds as well, so we were together, and it's just amazing. But anyways, yeah, it's great that he's here joining us. So, welcome to Ask the Drummer. Episode 41 is all about you, David Verner. So, so this is your sort of like story instead. So, like I said earlier, the Easterhouse are regarded as like a Manchester band, but you're originally from Liverpool.
Yeah.
So, how was it like? Which part of Liverpool are you from?
I'm from Old Swan.
Yeah, and what was it like? So, like growing up, because you said that you moved to Manchester when you were 15. So, what was it like, especially the music scene in Liverpool when you were growing up?
Well, I went to an actual social service boarding school in North Wales for a few years, which the real thing from Liverpool went to as well, Chris and Eddie Amu. But my mum was a professional artist, so I grew up around musicians, and the first job I had was 15, 13, off on tour with my mum. Yeah, but I moved to Manchester. I was working for Virgin Records, and I moved purposely to join a Manchester band. And while I was in Athlete's Palace, there was a sign up saying drummer needed for a band ready to tour, ready to record album. And I went for the audition, and I think they auditioned about 100 drummers, literally. I got the job.
Yeah.
Because I've got Irish background, all the Easterhouse lads are Irish, and we just got on great. So I landed that job at 21.
Oh my God! But when did you or how did you get into drumming? Was there any particular moment?
No, it was just I was away in Jersey. My mum was singing at a club in Jersey for the summer season, and I kept finding myself running onto the drums and sneaking on them. And my mum's partner in their double act was a drummer, and he basically taught me the Buddy Rich rudiments from a book at the age of 9. Got a kit at 13, and then I was straight out drumming for my mum at 13. But it was quite hard stuff, cabaret, Liza Minnelli, all different stuff like that. So it was a good surrounding for a young lad to learn to play. I mean, the level of musicians my mum played, the keyboard was Fred Lloyd out of Smokey. So I was, working with mature musicians and learning a lot from an early age.
Yeah. So was Easterhouse your first band, or were you in other, apart from sort of like playing with your mom, and did you have any other?
I played with a lot of people. I was always playing, but when you're younger, there's always bands wanting you to play, but there's never any money in it, if you know what I mean. But I played with loads of bands, and it got a bit of a reputation as a drummer. Did some stuff for a band called Strange Brew on Rob's Records. a track called Anathema, which is one of my favourite drum parts that I ever recorded, actually.
Oh, is this so like out on? Has it been released as a
Yeah.
record?
If you go on YouTube and put Anathema Strange Brew, it'll come up. It's one of my proudest pieces of work, actually.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up because, like I said to you earlier, that it's only Easterhouse and also Body Drone Boy, but I'm sure you'll tell me like this one, and Anathema, it's called or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the track's called Anathema. The album's called Strange Brew. I'm on about 4 tracks on that album, but that's that track Anathema. That's
yeah,
my favourite drum part anyway, because they basically just put a keyboard part down and said just play drums for 4 minutes, play a groove, and then they built a track. They built a track around the drum beat I did, which was just done in one take. But I really like it. It's my favourite piece of work.
and the album is called Strange Brew, but what's the band's name?
The band's called Strange Brew.
Oh, the band is called Strange Brew as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And
it was on Rob Gretton's label, Rob's Records.
Yeah. So they're from Manchester as well.
Yeah. Well, Rob Gretton was New Order's manager.
Yeah, yeah. Did he manage you as well, or just put you on his record label?
Just put us out on Rob's Records label. But it was quite a trendy, good label to be on at the time.
Yeah. Is it sort of like so did it go hand with Factory Records or Rob Records and then Factory Records? So yeah. I've got a question from Trevor. It said, did you play with any of the Smiths before Easterhouse? Because you mentioned Andy Rourke.
Andy Rourke joined Easterhouse, but Andy Rourke played in Body Drone Boy with me. But the original Easterhouse album, which I didn't appear on, was called Contenders, which is an absolute classic album. And Andy Perry from Easterhouse was Morrissey's favourite singer. And Easterhouse supported the Smiths on all the early dates.
Oh my God!
That's why they were signed to Rough Trade Records.
Yeah.
When the Smiths left, that was Rough Trade's final project because they'd got into financial difficulty at the time. Rough Trade after the Smiths left. Well, Jeff's managed to turn that around, and he's a successful music artist management company and label still now. Yeah,
because they're brothers, aren't they? The two members of Easterhouse. And it's funny because I only found out, especially after you're going to Glasgow and stuff, that Easterhouse is actually a place in.
Yeah, it was a political statement by the boys, Easterhouse, because the estate, Easterhouse itself, was built to be the next great thing for the working class, and it ended up being not such a clever thing for people.
Yeah. Then you were saying, pardon. Yeah.
They call the band Easterhouse as like a political statement,
And because the band was so political that you said that you got banned. So you were never on Top of the Pops?
No, we got banned for BBC. Yeah, for being just basically too political. Yeah. The powers that be been slowly gentrifying the music for quite a while.
Because it's like, I know there is something with the lyrics of "Come Out Fighting." I mean, for me, I just love the sentiments, or I don't know what it was really called, the sentiments.
Well, it was meant to be like Born in the USA, Springsteen. Everybody thinks it's about Born in the USA, but if you read into the lyrics, it's a lot more. Come Out Fighting is the same,
Yeah, and the way he sings it almost like an Elvis Presley, like
Yeah,
when he goes,
yeah.
"Oh."
Great voice. I mean, the songs on that album, This Country, this country's going to the dogs than it always was. A nation of stockbrokers becomes a nation of shopkeepers. It was, to me, Andy Perry's one of the best lyricists for
Yeah,
a long time. I'm one of the best singers, but
yeah.
I think he ducked out of the music industry when he realised it's a business.
Oh,
I mean, business.
oh. Yeah. That's right. But I want to say hello to Monty Medigoria. Monty's watching us from the Philippines. He said, "Hi, David. Yeah, just watching from the Philippines. So hello, Monty. It's good that he's here
Hello,
as well."
Monty.
Yeah, and Trevor said he's got all of the Rough Trade singles and the first album as well. So it's good.
Right, good man.
And he's got another question for you. He said, "Were you banned because of the Bobby Sands sleeve for inspiration?"
I think that might have helped.
Of which one? Which one is that? Is that for Come Out Fighting or which one is the Bobby?
No, it's from one of the earlier tracks the Bobby Sands.
Oh, right,
that was from Contenders. The earlier
the first album. Yeah. Oh, wow! I didn't know that. I've got to sort of like look that one up because I mean, like I told you before, I'm originally from the Philippines, so all these.
We used to play a lot of the RCP shows and Red Wedge shows and stuff like that, So if you're affiliated to any political groups, it can go against you within the press.
Okay. Yeah. So
etc.
So so Trevor said it's actually called Inspiration and it's of Contenders and so he was in the IRA. Okay, sorry about that. It's just I should really read up about these things.
Enough. Don't worry.
Yeah. So how long did you play in Easterhouse? How long did the band actually last?
Well, we did European tours. The album went out in the States and went to number 14 in the Billboard charts. We had a number 1 in Germany, all over Europe with that Come Out Fighting. But I was with Easterhouse for about 4 years.
Oh, and after Easterhouse, did you go play straight with Badly Drawn Boy, or is it just there's a big gap between?
Yeah, no, there was a gap. I just worked in the industry, Johnny Roadhouse, playing in different bands, jazz bands, and just getting about as a jobbing musician. But I started working at a place called the Greenhouse, which is in Stockport, Brighton Road Industrial Estate, where the Mercedes car park is, the Mercedes showroom. But the Greenhouse was synonymous with Manchester music. Simply Red rehearsed there, Happy Mondays, Ian Brown, Roses. Every band you could think of, whoever toured in England or Manchester, rehearsed at the Greenhouse Rehearsal Studios, Stockport.
God, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so I worked there on and off from about the age of 21 up till its closure, maybe 15 years ago. So a lot of the work, like the Doves rehearsed there. That's how I became a drum tech for the Doves. The Happy Mondays rehearsed there. That's how I became a drum tech for Lee Mullen and Gary Whelan. And it was a great melting pot for musicians,
Whereabouts is the Greenhouse?
It was on. It's been knocked down now. It was on Brighton Road Industrial Estate, where the new Mercedes showroom is. But the BBC have recently been getting in touch with local studios and that, trying to find out more information because I think they're planning to do a documentary on it.
Yeah.
Because literally everybody who was anybody went through that studio. So.
Oh my God, that's really interesting because I do know. I mean, I live near Strawberry Studios, and And we've got another one here called Cavalier, but it's all like a smaller
Yeah,
studio.
they were recording studios. This was just a rehearsal studio.
Oh, rehearsal, and that's called the Greenhouse. That
Yeah.
is.
It had 7 rooms, but the showcase one was like the biggest room in the Northwest. So all the major bands would use it all the time. So we'd have Ian Brown in one room rehearsing one point, and the Mondays were in another room on the same day. You know, so it was quite an interesting place to be.
Yeah, and I've asked you about this earlier, but you mentioned being the drum tech for Gary Whelan, because Gaz was on the show last year as well, and he's lovely. He's really, really a lovely
Yeah, he's
person.
a great guy, Gary.
Yeah,
I saw him at the arena when they played a few months back, and he come running over to say hello. So it was nice to see him.
Yeah, he's very friendly as well.
Yeah, he's great.
But there's a story about you getting like. Do you want to tell it that you getting?
Well, yeah, one of my famous things that everybody knows, it's gone in my way. It's gone against me. I got sacked from the Happy Mondays for being a bad influence on Sean Ryder.
Oh dear.
Which takes a lot of doing.
So do you want to just tell us what happened?
Well, we'd played a show in Leeds, and the venue was being shut that night because O2 took over. So the manager of the building said, "Right, lads, you can drink the bar dry because from tomorrow it's owned by O2." And Sean's got a friend called Fatneck who's quite famous for getting in different TV situations. Anyway, I was at the bar, and the tour manager came in and said, "Dave, right, back to the bus." And Sean went, "No, Dave's with us. He's staying with us. Fatneck's staying with me and Fatneck and all that." Anyway, the tour manager went off, came back about 3 hours later, and the rest of the band were on the floor, drunk. And I was still stood there smiling. But really, I was looking out for the band, but it didn't work out. Whether I was the scapegoat or not, I got sacked for being a bad influence on Sean Ryder, which has put a few people off employing me in future jobs.
No. So you're actually you're what would you call it? So when it comes to drinking, you can outdrink any of them.
Well, I did at the time, yeah. A lot of drummers are known for that.
So you become sort of like a drum tech for a lot of these sort of like Manchester bands, and then are there any other bands that you played in, or was it go straight to Badley's Drawn Boys? Or
yeah, I went straight to Badley Drawn Boys, and then I went to Stephen Fretwell.
Oh right, yeah. I've heard that name recently because I think I remember we have a record at King B on sale called Stephen Fretwell. I think that's where I heard that name from. Anyways, but
it does the soundtrack to Gavin and Stacey. Stephen Fretwell, probably one of the best British artists at the moment. Singer-songwriter. Just had a new album out, but his first album was a great success. And then he quit. Very like Andy Perry, he just left the industry as well for like 8 years, and he's just come back doing solo tours. So,
right.
When I toured with him, it was with the bass player out of Elbow. Was in the band.
Yes, you're really part of the Manchester music scene, aren't you? It's like when you talk about all the Manchester musicians, you are one of them. You're a part of it. So.
Yeah, well, most of them know me.
Yeah.
Most of them know me.
Yeah, well, Trevor said, "How can you be a bad influence on Happy Mondays?" I was actually gonna say that. I mean, it was like you said you're a bad influence on Sean Ryder. So he said, "Yeah, how can you be a bad influence on Happy Mondays?"
Well, yeah, that's very true.
And speaking of Happy Mondays, speaking of Happy Mondays, it's so funny. When I was away, my husband actually was on the train, and in front, I think it was in front of him was Baz.
Right? Yeah.
And it's for me, it's so like, oh my god, they take public transport. I mean, this is Baz. Everybody knows Baz. So
Yeah. Well, Pleasant's not. You know, they're all normal, decent lads. You know, they use public transport like everybody else. When it's convenient, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, my husband saw, like, I think he talked to him and said that I'm a big fan of Happy Mondays. So they were able to take a photograph and he sent it to me. And I'm like, oh my God, how did that happen? I mean, I hardly see any famous Manchester musicians when they go on public transport.
You're not knocking about Chorlton. All you have to do is go around Chorlton for an afternoon.
Oh, is that where they are? I mean, I only go there on Saturdays.
Yeah, that's where most of them live.
Yeah, I go there on Saturdays too when I go to work at King B Records.
Right. So how long have you worked at King B?
I did a sort like a voluntary work for them 5 years ago. It was May 2017, and then shortly after they've asked me to sort of like join them part timer. So I go there every Saturday. So do you go to King B Records?
When I wasn't drumming, when I first left school, I worked at Rare Records in Winslow, which was quite a specialist classical shop. And then I went to Graffiti Records, Blackpool, which is a punk record shop, where I first met John Robb. I used to sell him his punk records there.
Yeah. Well, when was this? What
going
year?
back 30 years ago.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you're also into sort of like, do you still collect records now, or?
No, not as much. No, not as much now. I used to think when people say, "Why do you work at a record shop?" and you've got the best record collection in the world, haven't you?
Yeah. I love being at King B, and it's one of those things that you I don't feel like I'm working. I actually feel like, oh my god, this is the best place ever.
Has Damon ever been in?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was gonna say that he was there, and I actually got introduced because one of my colleagues introduced me to him. He's really lovely, but we're not supposed to sort of like go, oh my god, can I have a photograph with you, please? Because this is like work. But he's really nice. Yeah, he's really nice.
Yeah, he's very approachable, Damon.
Yeah. It's also a bit like quiet. He's quiet, isn't he?
Yeah, he's quite shy.
Yeah. So can you tell me more about your job? So like, or your drumming for Damon Go for Bad the Drum Boy?
Well, basically, Matt Wardler was in Fly Garrick. Was selling.
That's the poster that you've got there.
Behind me. A band that I managed that were on Rough Trade Records. Matt was selling keyboards, classic keyboards to Damon. And Damon wanted to get a new band together. And he got Matt in as the MD to choose a new band, but I'd been recommended by 5 different people. So I just got a phone call, and then we met at the pub in Chorlton, had a pint of Guinness, and that was it. The job was mine. The next week, he won the Mercury Prize, and that was it. We were off on tour for 5 years. So.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And do you still play with him now, or is it
not now?
Not now. Yeah. What's he doing? Is he still going and doing releasing some more records?
Yeah, he had an album out last year called Banana Shoes or something. I don't know how it did, but I think he's busy with his soundtrack writing and stuff.
Oh, but are you still in touch? Are you still in touch with him, or?
Not on a day-to-day basis, but, if I bump into him, we speak,
Yeah. Well, pardon, yeah.
He doesn't, now he's a father, I don't think he gets out as much,
All right. Okay. Well, Travis said that he's seen Badly Drawn Boy a few times, but he's always been solo, so he's not had the sort of like a band with them. That must be sort of like when you joined them. It was like the earlier. Is it the early days or was it late?
No, it was the band Alfie were actually another Manchester band. They were his support act at the time. Well, it was after he won the Mercury Prize. He drafted in a new band to cope with not the average player would be able to cope with Damon's work because there's so many different styles of music within the, it's just not like pop or, there's different time signatures, all sorts of different styles. So it was very enjoyable to play.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned Alfie. Did you play in that band, or because I actually managed to find a few records, 7-inch singles, by Alfie. Because sometimes I see them in King B, and then I'm sort of like, oh, this looks interesting.
No, I didn't get to play with Alfie. Great bunch of lads, great musicians. They played some parts on Damon's Bewilder the Beast album.
Oh,
and
right, okay.
Then they went to be his support band, but I think there was some legal things regarding the songwriting on the album that they had differences with. So Damon drafted us in.
Oh, right. Okay.
As his new band. But since then, I mean, we were with him for 5 years at his height, really. We did we played on the David Letterman show, Conan O'Brien, but he's used several musicians on several albums since. So,
yeah.
But we were like the longest standing sort of members at that time.
Members of the band. Oh,
And it was
yeah.
most enjoyable when we played at the Apollo 2 nights sold out. We won the best live City Live, best live, but best live act of the year.
Oh, what year?
2003, I think. But it was, even though he comes as acoustic artist, it was a great live band. There's some really rocky numbers, really groovy numbers. So we used to do 3.5 hour shows.
Wow.
People in America, there's a Steve Lamacq BBC documentary which won the Sony award for being the best live documentary. The BBC travelled all around America with us, and there were some girls that were interviewed. And they said, "Bloody hell, we came in to watch this band, and he played for 3.5 hours." We're like, "Where are we?"
So from being in Easterhouse, and you were banned by the BBC, and then having Badly Drawn Boy and the BBC are actually following you. That must have been so
quite funny, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Which would you prefer then? Sort of like being banned by the BBC, or sort of like being followed by the BBC?
No, I don't care as long as they're paying.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to say hello to Lisa Horton. Hi, Lisa. I'm glad that she's joined us today as well. So yeah, thank you for watching. But when you're not drumming, but this was like a few years ago now. You also taught drums. You had like drumming. Oh no, you did.
I taught a good friend of mine's, Peter from the Verve, Pete Salisbury.
Yeah.
He had a drum shop on Hillgate, opposite Tony Tattoos, and I taught drums from there. And there was another gentleman, Keith Keogh, who now owns, which is in Stockport, the British Drum Company. Which has done massively well. Kasabian are involved, the pub landlords involved, and they've become quite a big drum company now.
Yeah, Mike Joyce. Wasn't Mike Joyce one of the first people to advertise the British Drum Company as well?
Yeah. He plays British drums.
Yeah, yeah,
and he's a good friend of us all. Yeah.
yeah. So, but
And
not only, yeah,
pardon?
but not only here, you also taught drums abroad. You saw like did you taught music, or you like in a music school? So
No,
like
I taught. I've gone on a plane with my friend to Cambodia, and he said, "Why are you coming to Cambodia?" And I said, "Well, I'm drinking too much from Stockport." And he said, "Well, it's 50 cents a pint in Cambodia. You've got no chance." And then he said, "How much money have you got on you, Dave?" I said, 25 quid. I just left me home and set off. But the day I landed, I got an audition for a band called Campot, which is like the main band in Cambodia. And the people in the band ran a music school, a French music school, where I got a job teaching drums for $25 an hour, which was a week's wages for Cambodian. So within a day of landing, I sorted myself out. I got a job teaching drums and playing in a band.
Yeah, yeah, and I've noticed because I've looked on your sort of like Facebook profile that you've also had sort of like dealings with Filipinos before. You've
Yeah,
not been to the Philippines yourself, but you had sort of like because do you know what, Filipinos, they're everywhere, they're all over the world. So is
yeah,
it some of your colleagues are from the Philippines?
yeah,
Yeah. So what was it like? I mean, are you still in touch with your Filipino friends?
yeah, yeah. On Facebook, of course. Yeah, as much as
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, so I'd love to go to Cambodia someday. I mean, what was so like, what was it like for you? So like, how long did you live in Cambodia?
Well, I was there for about 2 months. Then I found out I was going to be a grandfather, so I came home. But the the best way I could explain it, although it's changed recently, there's a lot of Chinese development gone on around Siem Reap. A lot of new roads being built. But Cambodia is brilliant. It's like going back to the 70s, if you can imagine it. But no roads, you're flying about on motorbikes in the mud. But all the bars were brilliant. Well more advanced technology than over here. It was really, really hip place. Dead cool people. But it really is like going back to the 70s. You think you're in a 70s film in Cambodia.
All right, and of course the drinks are cheaper, a lot cheaper than here,
Yeah.
than in the
And,
UK.
and there's a great music scene. Yeah. Funny enough, when they filmed Tomb Raider, part of the money, Angelina Jolie built a studio for the Cambodians, and it was copied from like Abbey Road. They spent millions and they built a studio and they left it there for the community.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wasn't it so? Like, I think one of Angelina Jolie's children, I think she adopted
Cambodia,
from Cambodia.
Yeah. So they loved it there that much. They built a studio for the local kids and local musicians.
That's brilliant. But when you talking about the great music scene in Cambodia, you've got to go to Manila, because Manila, when it comes to music, it's so amazing. So that's one of the things that you've got to go there.
I'll take that off for my next bucket list.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So now you're doing crew, like for music crew for like places like the Apollo and Etihad, and so who are the big acts that you've worked for recently? Because you mentioned Liam Gallagher was on Etihad.
Yeah, Queen, basically every artist that comes into Manchester I get to work with.
And it must be so like amazing. I mean, do you ever feel like, oh, I've got to have a photo with them? Do you ever get starstruck?
It's funny. You're not allowed to be seen sometimes as crew. The artists, when they're coming off stage, they don't want to be seen. There's no, you don't get to watch them really. A lot of the artists I know, a lot of the traveling crew with the artists I've worked with other artists, so I always get involved with taking the drums, helping with the drums or things like that, It's funny sweeping the stage at the Apollo when you played on it, I tell you. all the lads have a laugh at me saying how the mighty has fallen,
Oh.
Only in a good playful way, though.
Yeah, but you enjoy it though. You love doing what you're doing now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's great. Really good people.
Yeah, and you said last night Johnny Depp was there. Did you ever get a chance to say hello to him?
I smiled at him and thought when he sees me he'll have me in his next film, but I've not had the call as yet.
Oh, right. and what was it? What was it like with the fans as soon as they saw Johnny Depp on stage?
Oh, they went.
That's not. Yeah.
Well, he actually came out the back and met them all. A lot of the artists just get off from a different door. People stand at the back of the arena in the Apollo, and they don't realise that the band left 2 hours before.
Oh, right. But because it's not, it wasn't sort of like billed. The Jeff Beck show is not billed as with Johnny Depp, so it must be sort of like a surprise for most of the fans when he came on stage.
No, I think he's been advertised, but I know that within the last hour there was a few thousand extra tickets were bought because Johnny Depp was there.
And what was the girls like? They must be really so like pleased to see Johnny Depp on stage.
Well, there was a guy dressed as the pirate outside, dressed as Johnny Depp. But yeah, there was just loads of girls going mad, screaming for him.
Oh God! Oh, well, that must be. If Mick Head wasn't playing, I probably would have sort of like gone to. I mean, Jeff Beck. I know Jeff Beck, of course, and I'm not I'm not like a massive fan or something, but knowing that Johnny Depp was there, probably would have sort of like gone and waited for them outside as well.
Yeah, there was people from the morning waiting to see him, in the rain.
Another thing that I wanted to ask is like being part of the crew. Do you get fans or like asking you for favors, like asking you saying, "Oh, can you get me in?" Or do you get that?
Yeah, you do, but we can't get, we can't help them. They'll be streaming up to the stage for this set list or any plex or no, but a lot of the merch is like every gig you do, you get like a high vis crew jacket. So ones with Queen are already selling on eBay for £100. Last year when Johnny Depp played, he dropped some guitar plex, because the Johnny Depp guitar plex, I think one lad picked 3 of them up and he sold them for £120 each.
You're joking.
People pay. Yeah, because if you're a fan of like Queen, you can't buy a crew shirt. So it'll say official crew, blah blah blah. So they're quite collectible.
Yeah.
So that's one of the perks you get at working at venues,
Yeah, it's a crew, and
it's great watching it all from start to finish. Trucks turned up, but it's all carried out, and you watch it all be built. It's very interesting. Yeah,
and when you were talking about people like fans asking you for set list, how do you feel about that? Because I'm like that. I mean, I've seen people so like call the crew so like hey, or so like you so like can you have the set list or something. But how do you feel towards? Because I think that most of them, they just ignore the fans.
Well, yeah,
shouting and
yeah, you have to sort of, you get in trouble for giving stuff away. You know, it's not good protocol for crew to be passing stuff of bands. You know what I mean? I don't mind. Most of the lads are where we don't mind. If we can help somebody out, we will do.
oh my god. And next time I go to a gig in Manchester, I have to sort of like keep an eye out for you, and then hopefully I'm gonna say, David, can I have a set list, please? Because I just love set.
I'll always get one for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's whenever I sort of like see someone just throw a set list away, it hurts because it's like, oh my god, these are important things, the important.
To the true friend, yeah, there is. But you get a lot of professional. You'll see the same people turning up at gigs, trying to get the artist to sign it, and they're there from 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're not interested in the band. They're just there to get something signed and sold on eBay. There's a lot of charlatans on that front.
Oh dear. Maybe I mean, I do like everything signed, and I don't go so like really early in the morning, but I try.
That's why you get some of the crew and some bands are a bit indifferent, because there are a lot of fake fans that turn up at venues to just get signatures on guitars and to sell them, so it's.
Oh God.
It can be awkward, trying to work out who's the genuine fan and who isn't, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that must be. Yeah. Like, that's actually new to me. Yeah, of course there will be fans out there who'll just sort of like get stuff from the gigs and sell it. Oh my god, yeah, I've got to sort of like make sure that I make myself known that I don't do that. I don't sell my stuff. I will never do. I will never sort of like do it. But anyways, yeah. So, are there any sort of like artists or bands that you'd like to sort of like play in or play with?
I'd like to. I've always wanted to, and I'm a friend of him. And when I see him about, he always asks if I'm drumming. Is Ian Brown?
Oh my god, yeah. So, are you friends with Rennie?
I auditioned for a band. I auditioned for his drummer, to be his drummer once, which was a strange happening, because I went round his house, and he hid in another room while this young artist, other guy, auditioned me. But I didn't get the job.
Oh.
I was asked I've had a few things like that. When I auditioned for a band with guitarist Andy Cousins, who was the original Stone Roses guitarist.
Yeah, yeah.
Who had a band called The High.
The High, yeah, yeah.
I auditioned for a band at the Boardwalk, which was a new project of Andy Cousins. I got the job, and I said, "Oh, do you mind if I stay and play in the room?" And they went, "Yeah, we're going, but stay, I will play." And then Noel and Liam came in from next door and said, "Listen, Dave, we've heard you playing. Do you want to swap bands?" And my reply was, "Look, lads, I've only just got this job with this band. I don't want to get a bad reputation and jumping from one band to another." The next day I said to Andy, "What are those lads like next door?" And he went, "Oh, they're no good. You made the right decision." And then 2 days later, I seen Tony Wilson and a friend of mine, Bindi, coming to visit them. And I thought, "Oh no." So
oh no.
I reckon I'd have ended up killing Noel. I would have gotten great with Liam, but I don't think I'd have got Noel too well.
Oh my god. Do you think that that's, oh my god, that's a missed opportunity though?
Yeah.
Oh my friend from the Philippines as well, Gilbert, he's just joined us, and he was all like saying that fake fans just getting merch. He said that it sounds familiar. So like, yeah. I don't know, but hello Gilbert, I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, Gilbert's in Manila as well.
Hello Gilbert.
Yeah. So you live in Stockport now, because I remember seeing a post that you did on Facebook that in Vernon Park there was this drum kit
Yeah,
that somebody has left there, and anybody can just sort of like go and play. And
yeah. Well, the people involved with putting the kit there asked me to go, so I just turned up one morning, had a little bit of a playing, left.
yeah, yeah. But you said that it's not there anymore, or what
No,
happened to it?
I think it was there for about 3 months, and quite a few musicians went and played and used the kit. I think it got trashed by drunks,
Yeah, because it was
selfish
just out
people.
there. Yeah, because my friend Mark Liptrot, who's now playing drums in a band called Colacello, a Stockport band, I think that's where they discovered him. So like
Right.
it was, yeah, because he also went to Vernon Park and he just sort of like played, so like because it's just out there in public, and
But
I think
me and my friend Dean Bailey, that I do the odd charity gig with, and we play at Ruffley's Bike Show and a few things like that. We used to put shows on at a pub called the Thatched House. I don't know if you ever went to the Thatched House.
no,
It's
is that
closed down now. It's opposite. It was opposite the rectory, but it was legendary for Madness played there. You know, recently. Bad Manners, loads of punk bands from the old 70s used to play there. But me and Dean used to put nights on, and it was all the young indie bands. We put
oh
Save the Master Sound was one of the bands we put on, who became the Blossoms, and they were
oh
only 15. They were only 15. We were like, get on stage and play.
yeah, yeah. And now they're massive.
Yeah,
Blossoms are like, yeah, the pride of Stockport. So
yeah. Well, Stockport, it's on the up now, isn't it? With the Foodie Friday, so many new nice bars, becoming very hip and trendy now.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Though I mean, I love Stockport, but also I love going to Manchester, and it's quite easy to sort of like get back to Stockport because of the 192 route and stuff. So yeah, it's a nice place. But my husband just sort of like said he mentioned that he actually rehearsed, and I think he was talking about the greenhouse. He rehearsed in that studio with his friend Andy because they used to have a band together. So yeah,
What
I
was the
didn't know
band?
that.
What?
It was just I don't know what his band is, but it was like I think it was so like they formed a band to join this singer, who's a friend of theirs. But I don't think they ever had sort of like a name for the band. But
Oh, well,
yeah,
I've probably met your husband because I ran the office there, and met most of the people that went in there. It was a great place.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
probably more bands had photographs took outside the greenhouse than any band.
Oh god, yeah. He just said that they were, not famous bands. So it was like, it's not like not like the Stone Roses and the Happy Mondays or something. But and I've also noticed that you said that you got your grandchildren now. How many grandchildren have
Yeah,
you got?
two. Yeah,
Two.
5-year-old granddaughter and a 1-year-old grandson who looks like he's going to be a drummer already.
Oh, that would be great. And having you as sort of like tutor, teaching you how to do it. So,
Well, my son has his own label, and he puts out hip hop music
oh,
as
okay.
a as a bit of a project on the side. He works as well. TNT is called.
Ah, and
Yeah.
so, is that like Twisted Nerve?
No.
Is it different? No, it's a different one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember sort of like there's quite a lot of Twisted Nerve records that I've seen at King B. So
Yeah, that was part of Damon Goff's label
yeah, yeah.
with Andy Votel.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Andy Votel. Yeah, yeah. That's um. So can I ask you? Because like you said earlier, that there's no chance of an Easterhouse reunion now, which is a shame because I would have so like
It
loved
is
to.
a shame.
Yeah, I would have loved to like see come out fighting. But
Well,
um, one of
there's
the
his brother Ivor has a project called Big Flower.
yeah, yeah.
He he,
And
he, he promotes a lot of his stuff on Facebook and on the Easterhouse page.
and do they do some Easterhouse songs, or is it just so like
No,
their own
just
songs?
yeah. I think I think Andy's like a bit of a recluse now, the singer.
All right. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a shame. But
No.
well, can I just ask you, do you have any drumming heroes? Or
Yeah. Well, funny enough, I've got Bernard Purdie's one of my favourite, who played for Aretha Franklin and all the Motown.
all right, okay.
And I've actually
And
got a 1956 Bernard Purdie Sonar Teardrop drum kit, which was apparently I got it from Pete out the Verve, and he collects kits. Apparently, it was the kit that they used on the Motown European tour. But yeah, I like Aretha Franklin's rhythm section. You can learn
yeah,
a lot from them because there's so much movement in the grooves. Like I've played a lot of rock and indie stuff, but if you were to listen to the Strange Brew Anathema track, I'm more of a groove player. That's what I love, playing grooves.
right. And what about any Manchester drummers? Do you have any?
Simon Moore, great drummer, friend of mine, played for Ian Brown.
Yeah.
Mick
Remy?
Joyce. Name.
No, I just saw like I mean, I've mentioned it to you before that I just love drummers and I love
Well,
Manchester. Like,
the funny thing is, when I mean, I'm 56 now, but when I moved to Manchester when I was 21, back to Manchester because I'd been living in Blackpool, I moved to try and join the band. Got a job at Virgin Records, but back then there wasn't all these colleges for kids to go and learn music or learn recording, or so there'd be like if you had a drum kit, you were a drummer. There wasn't that many guys with a drum kit.
yeah. So you've not had any drumming lessons?
I was sat now, taught myself, and then Max Beasley Senior, Max Beasley the actor. His
Yeah,
father's called Max Beasley Senior. He was my mother's drummer, and he taught me. And I also went to see a guy called Red Carter from Liverpool.
oh, from Liverpool. Oh my God! So you also went to Red Carter because Chris Sharrock.
Yeah, Chris Sharrock went to Red Carter.
Yeah,
Ringo.
yeah, yeah.
Ringo had some lessons by Red Carter, and he was a close friend of my mum's because he worked in all the venues with my mum. And yeah, I loved going to see Red Carter. He was a great guy.
Yeah. Well, Jim Sharrock actually.
Well, Chris, funny enough, when I worked in Virgin Blackpool,
Yeah.
one of the guys I worked with, Dave, he won a competition where the Icicle Works came to his house and filmed a video. And it got in the news of the world. It got in the news of the World Sunday magazine. I've still got a copy. But Chris Sharrock was that drunk. I ended up drumming.
Oh
Somewhere there's footage of this because
and
it was filmed.
Yeah.
And in the magazine it says Dave was happy the band played and little Dave got on the drums and left with the sticks. So I've still got a copy of that.
Oh my God. Well, Chris Sharrock's nephew, Jim, he told me about Red Carter because apparently he was pronounced dead. It was all like he was in this sort of like some accident or something, and then they pronounced him like that. But then he came back. He's actually not dead, but it was so like a weird story. But most drummers in Liverpool apparently went through Red Carter, studio drumming
Yeah.
studio lesson. Yeah. So you don't play drums anymore now.
I,
It's like
well, I'm busy. I'm busy
with
being a
the
father,
career.
grandfather. It's a younger man's game now.
Yeah, but
But being on the road, being on tour on the road, it takes its toll.
yeah. Have you had any sort of like disasters or accidents when you were drumming, like for
Uh,
Easterhouse or Paddy John Boy? Did you ever hurt yourself when you were so?
uh, no, I did. I used to turn up in daft outfits. I had a bit of a Keith Moon syndrome. I turn up dressed as like different people in disguise, so they wouldn't know it was me,
Oh, right.
and do stupid things, like turn up in the Kiss suit at the V Festival, and Damon wasn't too impressed. But I
Oh,
used to do lots of mad things. I did fall off the stage at Shepherd's Bush Empire,
really?
where they'd not put a block of wood behind the drum stool, and there's like a 20-foot drop down the back. Halfway through the show, there was like, "Where's the drummer gone?" Climbing up the
Oh,
back.
oh my god! were you were you hurt though? So,
A little bit, yeah.
but did you manage to sort of like get back on stage
Yeah,
straight
yeah,
away?
just about. Me and Andy Rock, we played in the Fillmore, San Francisco, and me and Andy Rock had gone to Japantown to have well, not a buffet, but a Japanese banquet.
Yeah.
Anyway, they kept pulling these jugs of hot sake out, Me and Andy Rock were like, "Oh, this is nice, isn't it? Oh, can we have another one of them?" And they were sort of all giggling.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went through about this 12-course meal. Well, by the time we finished and tried to walk out into the fresh air, when we turned up at the venue and Jazz Summers, the manager, was there, we couldn't even speak. You have to sit Andy Rourke on a bass, on a stool, on stage. My foot was a beat behind to every song. And, but on that BBC documentary, Damon's heard arguing, "That was the best gig we've ever played in our life." Because me and Andy just turned it into 3 hours jam.
Oh my.
Oh, yeah.
And you're still, of course, you're still in touch with Andy Rourke
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he was in Manchester recently, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, I went to meet him for a coffee. It was good to see him.
Yeah, he's really lovely. I mean, Funky Sai, so like arranged.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Simon's a good friend of mine as well, yeah.
yeah, he's lovely, Funky Sai. Because 5 years ago, when Andy Rourke was here from New York, Funky Sai just said, come and meet us. So I went to Sale, and so like straight away, so like took the tram to Sale, and then went there, met Andy Rourke, and then just left, asked him to sign some of my things, and that's it. And it's really funny. I mean,
Oh, he's what?
like,
Andy is an absolute gentleman. Well read, very, 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 very intelligent, very caring, very clever.
yeah.
Creative guy, Andy. That was one of the joys of working with a musician like that. He's a great bass player.
Yeah, I mean, for me, meeting them is because I wouldn't be here in Manchester if it wasn't sort of like for the Smiths and the Stone Roses. Because I'm such sort of like when I was in the Philippines as a teenager, it's Morrissey and the Smiths for me, and I was like, oh my god, I just love this band so much. And having actually met them, apart from Morrissey, of course, I've not met, but having met Andy Rourke and Mike Joyce and Johnny
Johnny
Marr,
Marr.
yeah, I just thought, oh my god, it's like a dream come true for me. And of course, with people like you see them a lot. You see them all the time.
Well, no, it was a dream to play with Andy. He was a great bass player. We did You Were Right, which was a new song off, which was recorded by session musicians in LA. We didn't actually play on, but we got a tape or a CD 10 minutes before we went on Top of the Pops to play it live.
And so
You literally had 10 minutes. And me and Andy walked from the hotel to the BBC studios. And I was like, have you learnt the song yet? Andy went, no, have you? I said, no. I said, right, let's go and have a few Bloody Marys. We'll be fine. Where?
And it was fine. It went well. Was it?
It went well, yeah.
Yeah, it went very well. Oh my god, that's so good. Right. So any advice to sort of like drummers, like your grandson, when when he's a bit older, what would you sort of like say to him, or give him advice for him to become a drummer, or like any...
Don't be Keith Moon.
Don't be Keith Moon.
Because I tried it and it didn't work. Don't drink too much.
And don't fall off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Just stay healthy. Healthy physically and mentally. Just try and study your art. What I find now is I grew up learning to play songs. And a lot of musicians now, they're too busy about doing solos and how flashy and how quick they can play. And it's not about that. It's about playing a song. And a lot of people, they judge a good drummer by how big a solo he can do. But a lot of these top session guys can't play in a band.
Yeah.
Can't play a song. Ringo gets bad. People say he wasn't the best drummer. Ringo was a brilliant drummer because no other drummer could play the songs the way Ringo could. And they wouldn't have become the songs unless Ringo thought of just slight touches and, not about soloing or showing off. You don't have to be the top technician in the world to have feel. It's about feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids miss that now, I think.
Yeah. I know this is all like a daft question, but when you were playing, did you twirl? Did you do a bit of twirling?
No.
Sorry.
No. I can do, but I wasn't about. For me, it was all about sticking to your job.
Yeah. I do love a bit of sort of like show, and when I look at drummers.
I mean, I was really chuffed to see, and I sat and watched it with my friend Matt Wardle, who's a keyboard player, who's actually Filthy Animal Taylor out of Moorhead's nephew. We found a clip, and it was before Andy Rourke joined, because the original bass player was Sean, who was in a band called Audio Web.
Oh, yeah.
And he went on tour with Ian Brown. So we got Andy Rourke in later on. But when Sean was in, we played at Shepherd's Bush Empire, and it was filmed 3.5 hours. And it's just found it on YouTube the other day. Badly Drawn Boy, Shepherd's Bush Empire. There's a 3-hour brilliant show.
Yeah.
Where he's laughing with the audience. The band just starts doing. He'll just say, "Play me a blues number." We just make a number up on the. The band was really good.
What?
So it was nice to see that. So if you get a chance and you get a couple of hours, check out Badly Drawn Boy live at Shepherd's Bush Empire on YouTube.
What year was that?
That was about 2002, I think.
Right. Well, yeah. I will. So, like, definitely. So, like, look for it on YouTube and then watch it for a couple of hours. So instead of going on Netflix and watching a film, I'll probably just like
No,
watch
honestly,
it instead. So like,
I think it was one of Damon's best performances because he was very funny. But the band in the background, just a natural playing, going off on different grooves.
yeah,
Songs like Everybody's, songs like Everybody's Stalking, such a great rock groove tune as well.
yeah.
There's so many different sides to Damon's music that I don't think people realise as much until they've been to a live show.
Well, thank you so much. I will definitely look it up on YouTube, and thanks for that recommendation. So all of you watching, do look it up. But thank you so much, David. It's been over an hour now. I thought I was said to you earlier that I'll keep you on the phone like under an hour, but thank you so much for all these
Absolute
stories.
pleasure, Anna.
Yeah, it's just so incredible because me loving Manchester so much and Manchester musicians, and then hearing you talk about them, it's just really exciting for me. So thank you, thank you very very much, and
Absolute pleasure.
I hope someday I'll get to see you. So when I go to a gig, and maybe you'll be there. So
sort your set list out.
Yeah, so that's right. And we can have a photo as well. And I'll bring my Easterhouse records with me so you can sign it for me, please. So
I'm glad somebody's heard of Easterhouse anyway.
Well, do you want to just say final words just to our friends in Manila and also here in the UK as well? So
yeah. Goodbye. Nice to thank you all. And keep listening to good music.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, David. And
all right, look forward to meeting up. All the best. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of the weekend with your grandchildren. So I'm sure.
I will.
All right. Thank you.
Brilliant. Bye. Cheers, Anna. Take care.
Bye. Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to David. It's just so exciting hearing all these stories about Manchester and the Manchester musicians. And that rehearsal room in Stockport as well. I've not heard about that before, but it's just amazing. But anyways, we've got, so that's the first part of Ask the Drummer for today. We've got another one coming up at 8 o'clock in the evening tonight, and he's gonna be live from California, which is like the first time I'm gonna have an American drummer on the show. So I'm really excited about him. So guesting as well. That's at 8 p.m. UK time, which is 12 noon in California. So hopefully you'll join me again, and you join us again this evening. But for now, I'm just going to say that enjoy the rest of your weekend and hope to see you again sometime later. And what I always say is love music, love life, and love, love, love drummers. And that's it. So see you later. Bye. Bye.